Welcome to the Steady Anchor Podcast, a podcast on Christian faith and practice, highlighting doctrine and discipleship in the local church. I'm Luke, and welcome to the show. Welcome back to the Steady Anchor Podcast. I am Luke, your host, and today we are continuing our Proverbs project, our study through the book of Proverbs one chapter at a time. Today we are at chapter 29 of Proverbs, where we're going to continue spending time reading through the passage, about 10 minutes a day, reading through it, listening to it, looking for those main themes, the prominent words of wisdom, the way in which God can show us how to live in a way that is wise and insightful, righteous and holy, to live in a way that's honoring and glorifying to Him. So, if you have a Bible, please read along with. If not, I'll read the whole thing now. This is Proverbs 29 in the ESV. He who is often reproved, yet stiffens his neck, will suddenly be broken beyond healing. When the righteous increase, the people rejoice, but when the wicked rule, the people groan. He who loves wisdom makes his father glad, but a companion of prostitutes squanders his wealth. By justice a king builds up the land, but he who exacts gifts tears it down. A man who flatters his neighbor spreads a net for his feet. An evil man is ensnared in his transgression, but a righteous man sings and rejoices. A righteous man knows the rights of the poor. A wicked man does not understand such knowledge. Scoffers set a city aflame, but the wise turn away wrath. If a wise man has an argument with a fool, the fool only rages and laughs, and there is no quiet. Bloodthirsty men hate one who is blameless, and seek the life of the upright. A fool gives full vent to his spirit, but a wise man quietly holds it back. If a ruler listens to falsehood, all his officials will be wicked. The poor man and the oppressor meet together. The Lord gives light to the eyes of both. If a king faithfully judges the poor, his throne will be established forever. The rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself brings shame to his mother. When the wicked increase, transgression increases, but the righteous will look upon their downfall. Discipline your son, and he will give you rest. He will give delight to your heart. Where there is no prophetic vision, the people cast off restraint, but blessed is he who keeps the law. By mere words, a servant is not disciplined, for though he understands, he will not respond. Do you see a man who is hasty in his words? There is more hope for a fool than for him. Whoever pampers his servant from childhood will in the end find him his heir. A man of wrath stirs up strife, and one given to anger causes much transgression. One's pride will bring him low, but he who is lowly in spirit will obtain honor. The partner of a thief hates his own life. He bears the curse, but discloses nothing. The fear of man lays a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord is safe. Many seek the face of a ruler, but it is from the Lord that a man gets justice. An unjust man is an abomination to the righteous, but one whose way is straight is an abomination to the wicked. This is the word of our Lord. So we have here in chapter 29 of Proverbs a continuation of the Proverbs, the sayings of wisdom of King Solomon of Israel. These are general statements, general premises, not absolute promises, but ideas that help us to get a better picture of ourselves, of God and His creation, to hopefully help us live in a way that is wiser, a way that leads to life and not to destruction. We see another couple general themes here. Verse 4, that justice builds up a kingdom. By justice a king builds the land, but he who exacts gifts tears it down. So a ruler who is ruling by justice will build up his nation. The ruler that rules by justice, by insight, by wisdom, by righteousness, is the one who will build up his nation, the one who will bless it, the one who will guide it into progress, into success, into security, or at least that's the general principle. But rather the one who exacts gifts, the one who accepts bribes, the one who is backhanded, the one who is deceitful, that person, he will tear down a kingdom. Wicked rulers are abhorrent to a kingdom. It's destructive to a nation. Verse 9, fools only laugh and rage at correction. We've spoken often in this study about the way in which foolish people do not accept correction. They don't accept rebuke. They don't accept insight and wisdom. They only trust in their own mind. They only trust in their own understanding, and they reject all correction. This verse, if a wise man has an argument with a fool, the fool only rages and laughs, and there is no quiet. So if a wise man, a one who is trying to correct, to instruct, to disagree with the fool has no answer for him. He only gets mad or laughs in his face. There's no quiet. There's no solution there because the foolish person is unwilling to bring an actual response or unable to because of their foolishness. Verse 11, we have to know how to hold our tongues in the right circumstance. Verse 11, a fool gives full vent to his spirit, but a wise man quietly holds it back. There may be circumstances in our lives where we desire to just kind of unload everything. We've been upset. Something's been bothering us that day. Something's just been building up. Something where you feel put down or angry, annoyed, whatever it may be. But if we were to go and just explode whenever we felt like that, it would be foolishness. It would be harmful to ourselves and to others. To just explode and vent at all times at the slightest inconvenience is destructive. The foolish man quietly holds it back. The wise man understands that there is a place and time for him to voice his complaints. There's a place and time for him to work through these things, to bring a complaint, to bring an answer. But to just simply yell it out whenever you get mad, that is the work of foolishness. Verses 15 and 17, that rod and reproof, that's correction, bring wisdom and delight to parents and are for the good of the children. Verse 15, the rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself brings shame to his mother. Verse 17, discipline your son and he will give you rest. He will be a delight to your heart. So again, a word to parents that those who do not discipline their children are setting them up for failure. They're setting them up for distraction and disobedience, not just to you as a parent, but also to God who is above you. The authority that you have over your child is instituted by God so that you would discipline them, correct them, train them in love and patience and mercy towards a healthy understanding of who they are, what is right and what is wrong, who God is by his word, by what he has revealed himself to be. It's important, indeed it is necessary for parents to discipline their children rightly, or else they're consigning the child over to destruction of the worst kind. Verse 23, it's important to recognize that we will either be humble or we will be humbled. Verse 23, one's pride will bring him low, but he who is lowly in spirit will obtain honor. This is something that Jesus says many parables and teachings about in the Gospels. We learn much in the epistles, repeated here throughout Proverbs, that the person who is proud of himself, the person who is boastful and arrogant, will come to destruction. Pride goes before destruction, one proverb says. But the person who is humble, the person who acknowledges their own limitations, who does not brag and boast in their own understanding and achievements, this person will be uplifted. This person will obtain honor, if not in this life, then certainly in the life to come. So we hope that encourages you today. We hope that both you and I, whoever may be listening, whatever time may be listening, we can apply this well to our lives, that we would not be proud or boastful, but humble in spirit, trusting in the Lord who gives and takes away, the sovereign Lord who has us in his hand, and trusting him to give us the wisdom we need. We hope this blessed you. If it did, please share with a friend or recommend it to someone you know. We'll see you again tomorrow.